For many techniques in gouache, you need to let your paint dry to a bone dry dryness in order for the techniques to work. Here's a brief tutorial on what that means. So I'm working towards bone dry. So I put an opaque layer down. I blew dry it for about a minute. And in order for it to be bone dry, there cannot be wetness in the paper or the paint layer. So keep that in mind. The bigger the area, the longer it's going to take to dry. So if I painted something the size of this card, it may take more than a minute to dry completely with a hair dryer. If you're waiting for something to dry without a hair dryer, it takes much, much longer. So this may take 5 minutes, and a bigger swatch might take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on the humidity of the day. So a moist layer is a layer that's painted on and we're gonna wait for it to dry a little bit. Now, the moist layer, when it's moist, it will have no shine, and right now it basically is a wet layer. So I'm going to take the hair dryer and blow it dry until the shine is gone. After a few seconds drying, the shine is gone, and that's a moist layer. A wet layer, the paint is shiny. And you should be able to see the paper texture. If it's wet, if you can't see the paper texture, it is flooded. So we'll do a flooded one. Right now we have bone dry, moist damp, wet, and flooded. Bone dry, it's dry through the paper. Moisture damp, it's dried on the top but not the bottom. Wet, it's shiny, but you should be able to see the texture of the paper. Flooded, it's shiny, but you can't even see the texture of the paper. The other thing to notice is this idea of a drying shift. So basically, you're going to notice at bone dry, ultramarine blue looks a lot different than when it's wet. So make sure you let your paint dry to bone dry before you evaluate the color and value.